كيف ابو حسين؟ كيف الحال ابو حسين؟ يا رب. اليوم الشباب وضعهم خاص، مش فاضي لك. هاي وضعها صعب اليوم، مش عارف. بيجوا ان شاء الله. احنا علينا نستمر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم إله الأولين والآخرين، وأصلي وأسلم وأبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Right. We have talked last week, of course we're still in the book Hilyat Talib al-Ilm, the etiquette of the student of knowledge. The last thing we talk about the humbleness, leave arrogance, and so on from Talib al-Ilm. We mentioned a few things. Those always try to not to be arrogant about the things you do, and always think about I could do more, I'm not doing enough, and so on. This is what help out to maintain the humbleness. As subhanAllah, this is the first sin was ever committed was arrogance. So from Iblis he said, I Allah have created me from nar, or I was created by fire and you have created Adam by clay, so I'm better than him, and so on. And we said how humble Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was, and he said, he was talking, grabbing his tongue, he said, you are the reason for what I'm in. And they said, mentioned many stories about the early generation of Islam. They said, subhanAllah, one of them was in the day of Arafah, if I wasn't here, I would say Allah will have forgave all of them. And the other thing, said the help out things, when you pray, when you make salah, you are afraid Allah is not going to accept. You make qiyam, you're afraid Allah is not going to accept, and siyam, and so on. Everything you worried about the acceptance. This will help you out to humble yourself. It's not about the action itself. The most thing you should worry about, the acceptance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This would humble someone down. As we said, the story by Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said the last time when he was in coma, basically about to die, and he was said, not yet, not yet. When he woke up, he said, what is it? He said, the shaitan, he said, told him, you have escaped away from me, and basically said, not yet. So meaning you are in a test till you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, till you die, you're going to be in a test all the way till the soul leaves the body. However, today, inshallah, there's another chapter of this book, beautiful book by Shaikh Bakr bin Abdullah Abu Zayd, and he said, Al-Qana'a wa Zahada, which is contentment, and asceticism, which is zuhud. Al-Qana'a, so basically adorn contentment, which is, they said here, to be pleased for what you have from the dunya. Don't look up for something more, or something is not even hardly enough. For example, you make $100, you need $100 and you have 90. You say Alhamdulillah. And this is totally the opposite of the people think. If you have 100, you want a 200. You have 200, you want 300 and more. But the qana'a, that can be content, means like whatever you have, you're happy and satisfied, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have decreed this for us. So, and the other thing here, and Allah said, when mentioned in Surah Nahl, said, فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. We will make him live a beautiful, lofty, nice life. And he said, the hayat tayyibah, he said, the one who follow my deen, Allah will give him hayat, good life and lofty life. And the lofty life, as you know, the Sahaba, many of them poor. So the lofty life does not mean being rich, doesn't mean have like palaces and mansions and so on. Lofty life, being close and being content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have gave you. So this is the thing, your heart full of contentment. You're content and you're pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have provided for you. As Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he used to come in the morning after Fajr, he asked his family, do we have food? He said, no food. He said, then I'm fasting. Very simple. No argument, no fight. I didn't have food. Okay, fasting. He comes in the evening to break his fast and said, what do you have? He said, oil and vinegar. He said, نعم الإدام الخل. What a beautiful food, the vinegar. Vinegar. subhanAllah, or olive oil, subhanAllah. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he was one of the biggest zuhad. He content to the point like subhanAllah, Allah knows best. He said the leaders at that time, they tried to give him some gifts and so on. When he saw this, as you know, we have mentioned Imam Ahmad, he had to go through a big fitna in his life. Imam Ahmad was in prison and so on for the argument happened about the creation of the Quran. Those people, they said, Allah have created the Quran, and he was upon the truth. He said, Allah have spoke the Quran. So the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other group, they said, Allah have created the Quran. So he was right and they were wrong. However, he was in prison for this. And he said, the fitna now, the dunya coming to me, and the leaders and the kings and so on, they want to give him some gifts. He said, this is a bigger fitna than the first fitna. So when the dunya comes to you, is a big fitna. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَمَهُ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honor you and give you. So basically when Allah tests you and gives you, he said. So giving test, poverty test, and being rich is a test. And he said this is the bigger test, subhanAllah. And those kings and so on, well, I mean, this is when they saw his lifestyle, he's satisfied with even piece of bread or something very simple. He said, this man, you know where to get to him. So he's the way he is, subhanAllah. And same thing, the Shaykh is saying, the student of knowledge should have same etiquettes. Nothing to do with the dunya. Doesn't mean you're not going to live your life, but the thing is, the life comes, the dunya comes automatically. So let go of the dunya going to come. But your goal is the akhirah, it's not the here. So this is what one of the etiquettes of talib al-ilm, the student knowledge, to care about the akhirah and be content with whatever he has, whatever she has. But as long as you are decided to be a student of knowledge, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he mentioned that, وَلَتَمُدَّيْنَ عَيْنَكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِنْهُمْ زَهْرَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا لِنَفْتِنَهُمْ فِيهِ. Allah mentions, subhanAllah, that لَا تَمُدَّ, do not look at the people who's better than you financially. He said basically, with the early generation of Islam, he said, when they see a nice house, they turn their face, they don't want to even look. He said, this way, I'm looking to things, I don't want to look at this. This is the beauty of the dunya and the adornment of the dunya. And this is, they said, if the whole dunya comes to you, you ignore it, it's meaningless to you, subhanAllah. Then he said, as zuhud, as a citizen, and this is, subhanAllah, this was zuhud, and they said, we have in Islam, zuhud and wara. As zuhud, mean this word, you hear it a lot in Islam. Basically, there's no exact translation for it. And it's close to it, but we have mentioned. But he said, the zuhud, to leave anything does not benefit you in the hereafter. This is zuhud. He said, he's zahid, he leaves or she, anything does not benefit in the akhirah, will not leave. And there's something called wara', and also high level in the deen. He said, things wara' less level than zuhud, he said, that you leave things you may cause harm in the akhirah. But look at this here. Anything does not benefit will not get to it, subhanAllah. And who shows here the student of knowledge, or some scholars, if you ask them about fatwa, he said, go ahead and do it. He said, can I do this, Shaykh? When you go to the scholars, some scholars, can I do this? He said, yeah, go ahead and do it. Look at this. But then, if he wouldn't do it himself. So why didn't you do it? He said, I don't want to fall into doubt. I don't want to take a chance. So this is because there's something to do with the dunya, he doesn't want to take a chance. Something's not benefiting the akhirah, he does not want to take a chance, subhanAllah. So this is the thing, it's this the way of life. One of the imams, his name Muhammad Amin Shankiti, he died probably less than 50 years ago. And he said he came from a country called Mauritania, which is by the Atlantic Ocean. He said, subhanAllah, he said, his student, he said, I saw this scholar, he cannot differentiate between the $5 bill and the $10 bill, 5 riyal and 10 riyals. He does not know the difference. Money is nothing to him. He said, I came from Bilad Shinqit, they call it Bilad Shinqit in Arab, which is Mauritania, and they said, subhanAllah, I had the best treasure in the dunya. He said, what is it? He said, contentment. I'm content, subhanAllah. If I wanted to become leader, I would have become leader. If I wanted more dunya, I could have, but I don't want nothing to do with the dunya. I did not learn the knowledge for the dunya. So one of the things, the etiquettes of the student of knowledge, not to learn Islamic knowledge for dunya. To have social status, to have a bigger salary, to have to people say, mashallah, he's knowledgeable, and so on. This will defeat the purpose. Matter of fact, all the deed will be rejected, will nullifies all the deeds. If that's what it is, then probably you get it. Probably not. But the thing is, the intention. As you know, the hadith, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Allah reward you based upon your intention. As he said, if you are migrate from Mecca to Medina for Allah, then the hijrah is for Allah. If you migrated from Mecca to Medina for dunya, for a woman to marry, then you get what you have migrated for, subhanAllah. So the zahid, the sunnah knowledge, zuhud, and to be content, and to stay away from anything, listen to this, anything have doubtful, the gray area, as student of knowledge. If you seek in this route, you leave anything doubtful, you leave anything disliked, anything makruh. So you leave all the stuff. You said it's only disliked. This is dangerous for student of knowledge, for a person who is in the masjid all the time, for the person who seeks Islamic knowledge, for the person who try to become close to Allah. Leave the gray area. Leave anything doubtful and leave anything disliked, subhanAllah. And the other part he said, the Imam, rahimahullah, and let's see what. He said, التحلي برونق العلم. SubhanAllah, this is beautiful things to have. He said, adorn yourself with splendor. So this is, SubhanAllah, so certain things a student of knowledge should have. First of all, with the way you dress, the way you look, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you act. Everything have to show you are student of knowledge. And this is, subhanAllah, the beauty of the student of knowledge, the beauty for man. How to talk and look at the people of knowledge, the scholars, how they talk, how they walk, how they eat, subhanAllah. Don't be so loud. So, don't be like silly. Don't be arrogant. Don't be so proud of yourself and to the point you become so arrogant, subhanAllah. And all this, as student of knowledge, as a young man, you should avoid. If you consider yourself as one of the religious people, or the one who come to the masjid, or the one who seek in this route, being a student of knowledge, always try to avoid all this stuff. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, said, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. So the people of knowledge, the ibadullah, ibad al-Rahman, the true worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they really walk with humbleness. When they get in an argument with the ignorant, it's peace, salam. This is the way. We don't here try to prove a point. We don't try to be louder than that person. Like I said, there's something you have to act like those people you are following, the real scholars, the people of knowledge, and so on. Then, subhanAllah, this is one of the first steps a student of knowledge should have. Or young man, try to take this route. Like I said, the way they eat, as Ibn Sirin, he said, the students they used to learn basically the akhlaq and the way of the scholars before they learn the knowledge. They follow their steps before this, and they have the best manners and so on. And the thing is, imagine, subhanAllah, imagine like you come to the masjid all the time, and people think, mashallah, you're upon the right path, and you try to learn more about Islam, or a sheikh even does with those patches, jeans and pants, or shorts and tank top. So you have to be a person, like act upon what you are preaching. So, or you say, I want to be this way. So the thing is, imagine this one, like a sheikh given, like to have a tank top and short and given a dars. Doesn't gonna work. Or you bearded guy and you act so silly. Does not work. So subhanAllah. So always try not to be silly, try to be humble, try to have some dignity, try to basically laugh less, joke less. And the thing is, joke like they say, the joke like the salt and the food, which is little bit, is no doubt to break the barriers, to become closer to the people. No doubt Rasulullah used to joke, but does not never lie when it comes to joke. Say the truth. So the thing is, for example, he said, when a old lady asked him, would I enter Jannah? He said, no old lady would enter Jannah. And he said the truth. Then he told her, she got so mad, or sad, and he told her, don't you know, like everyone in Jannah will be young? So this is the kind of joke he has, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Something's not suitable for you. So, and the other joke, like they said, we should not have as student of knowledge, the things will bring hate or grudges. For example, I don't like this people, I don't like this country, I don't like this village, I don't like this city. Those people are ignorant, they're very uneducated, and so on. They talk about this country or this race or that race, or women or men. This is not, even by joke, is not acceptable for the student of knowledge. So always to have the best manners, the best adab, and so on. Anything more than that, besides, like I said, breaking the ice, like they say, between you and the students, between you and your friends, is no big deal. And the thing, other than that, is not part of the behavior or the etiquettes of the student of knowledge. And also, don't act a person who you are not. Basically, say you don't act like you are knowledgeable and you have no knowledge. As Umar radiallahu anhu said, Allah will expose you at one point. People will ask you about a silly question and you wouldn't know the answer. Everyone will know the answer but you. So Allah will expose you for this, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They like to be praised for things they don't have or they did not do. And try to mention food less and women and so on. Don't mention so much. Like Ahnaf al-Muqaysi said, try to avoid your gathering talking about food and women and so on. He said, I hate to see a man, all what he talks about this. Especially when you have like a halaqa of knowledge and so on. And the other one, he said, at-tahalli, another part of the sunnah they should have, he said, tahalli bil-muru'ah, which is adorned with honor. And this is something, this very sensitive and delicate part of this book, subhanAllah. Basically, some stuff we do does not have daleel, proof from the Quran or the Sunnah. Some has to do with our cultures, subhanAllah. And he said, the Imam rahimahullah, basically some stuff is not nice to be done according to this culture. And is not against our deen, you should honor that as student of knowledge. This first time, whatever things they do in this culture, let's go, for example, you go to Turkey or to Egypt or Saudi or anywhere. So you go there and things they don't like to be done, or should you do this stuff like this, and it's not against our deen, do it. As student of knowledge, to soften the heart, to make people closer and to respect. As long as it's not against your deen. So they said, as student knowledge, you should do it. So respect the others, the other cultures, and so on. Like, for example, wearing certain clothes in a certain area. And places, for example, you shouldn't be wearing certain clothes, even though it's not haram. So it's not haram. If you want to go there, be part of that city or that village, don't wear it, because those people don't like it. Don't tell them, no, it's not haram. They know it's haram, but it's not haram to leave it. That's the thing. It's not haram to leave it. So like, for example, now we have the hairstyle. Some hairstyle, they have long hair, short hair, and so on. So of course, there's some haram haircut, no doubt. The mohawk and so on, the fade and so on. But some, when they have long hair and like afros and so on, this is not the etiquette this is not the cultures of the Muslims anymore. Said Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam did this. Okay, wear the imam all the time, or do all the sunnahs of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one you can. That's the only sunnah. So the thing is, there's so many sunnah. So be like the Muslims. Don't be different when you go to like a Muslim country and act like you're doing the sunnah, but it's not a sunnah. So he said, the Shaykh rahimahullah said, basically to adopt this manners is very important for the student of knowledge. Like they said, subhanAllah, there's a beautiful saying. They said, eat whatever you want, the way you like, but dress the way people like. يعني كل عكيفك ولبس عكيف الناس. So eat whatever food you want, but when it comes to the dress, the appearance, you have to fit with the society basically. You cannot be different, sit there and be different than the people around you, so the people will criticize. If something they don't criticize, they're fine, but if they criticize such a clothes, don't leave it, as long as they're haram. When he said, subhanAllah, al-muru'ah was the honor, he said, rahimahullah, said basically, adorn the honor. The muru'ah, he said, to leave or to do something, to leave anything might criticize you or might you be condemned for. So this is to leave things permissible so people will not condemn it. To leave the permissible. You're not leaving your salah or siyam or hajj or zakah or your beard or things like this or shorten your thobe or something. Something to leave something permissible to be left for so people will not criticize it or not condemn it, subhanAllah. Like for example, one part of our culture, one part of the culture, when someone passed by your house, say, tfaddal, come forward, come on in please. Even if you didn't meet, this is part of the culture. It will be weird if you pass by and say, oh, assalamu alaikum, assalam. It's not haram to tell him, tfaddal, come on in. So if that's the culture in that town you are in, say it. Come on in, or you tell me, you know what, why don't you come, for example, this Maghrib, now Allah, I'm busy. You don't have to come if you're busy, stop everything, but at least to fit with the society you are in. So this, as student of knowledge, you should have such manners and such etiquettes. I think we don't have time to finish the last part here. Yeah, it will be hard. If you have a few questions about this, subhanAllah, or sometimes with